Battlefield 2 Modern Combat was the first Battlefield game for consoles when it was released on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2 in 2005. In 2006 it saw a re-release for the Xbox 360 with reworked graphics and online play through Xbox Live. Since then the Battlefield sandbox has expanded and improved, so is there still fun to be had with this once beloved title? Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, is it worth it? Battlefield games are renowned for their excellent multiplayers, but Battlefield 2 Modern Combat also features a decent length campaign that offers several unique and interesting twists on the standard military shooter gameplay.
A number of ex-Russian satellites have rebelled, and the most crucial, Kazakhstan, is the centerpiece of a fast-moving confrontation.
The campaign tells the story of a fictional war between China and NATO forces in the nation of Kazakhstan. You regularly switch sides between each faction as you play out the war from both sides. The plot is told through short sections of voiceover at the start and end of missions, and news reports from both nations that retell events with plenty of propaganda. With few named characters, it's unlikely you're going to get invested in the plot, but it does a decent job of setting up the gameplay and giving you a reason to shoot things. Towards the end of the game, you are given a choice to play out the final events as either nation, and will experience a different mission depending on your selection. The single player features class-based large-scale military combat that offers an equal measure of infantry and vehicle-based warfare. The set of classes available and the weapons and equipment at their disposal are all relatively standard for a Battlefield game. It's the game-changing hot swap mechanic that serves as the game's most interesting ability. With the press of a button, you can quickly switch between any of your fellow soldiers on the battlefield and take control of them directly. This is both dramatic and a very useful ability. It can be used to quickly move around the battlefield, switch between different classes, and to easily pilot any vehicle. While the novelty of the switching animation wears off after the first couple missions, the functionality lasts for the entire single player. Hot swapping around the battlefield completely changes the way you play, and allows you to always be close to the action and not need to rely on your almost useless teammates. Missions become more about trying not to lose too many troops in battle, as you simply switch control if you're killed. This doesn't, however, mean that the game is an easy ride.
Incoming fire has us immobilized!
Many parts of the game offer a good challenge to even the most proficient of shooters, and while success can be satisfying, the game sometimes resorts to cheap tactics to add challenge, with constantly respawning enemies and instant kills. The final few missions in particular are extremely challenging, with some strict time restrictions and fewer reinforcements at your disposal. While almost exclusively being set in Kazakhstan, the game still offers a decent selection of locales to battle in, although many of the areas are reused multiple times. The majority of missions boil down to killing the enemy and blowing stuff up, but the vehicle missions help to add some much needed variety. The large-scale sandbox environments leave you with plenty of opportunities to try out different tactics and approaches to situations. At the end of every mission you are awarded a selection of stars and medals depending on how well you executed the level. These rewards allow you to rank up and unlock more weapons, equipment and upgrades. These upgrades aren't crucial for success, but they work as good incentive to keep playing and improving. It also helps to add good replay value to the single player, as you can replay missions in order to unlock more equipment. You can also practice your skills with challenges. The challenges include weapon training, hot swap time trials, and race challenges. You are required to achieve a certain score for each challenge, and can receive up to 3 stars depending on your score. Some challenges are more fun than others, but overall you're unlikely to sink much of your time into these short distractions.
One down.
Overall, the single player does enough different to make it worth some attention, but the weak story, dumb AI, and dated visuals hold it back from being anything other than a passing moment of relative enjoyment. This is a Battlefield game though, and therefore the multiplayer is what the game is really about. And that's where things start to look really bad for Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. As of August 2011, the servers for the online multiplayer have been offline. This means that you can no longer play Battlefield Modern Combat 2 online on the Xbox 360. This is a shame, as the multiplayer was by far the game's strongest asset and still had some dedicated fans playing until the servers were taken offline. It couldn't rival recent Battlefield games in terms of depth and production values, but it was still fun and perfect for people wanting something different at a budget price. Don't be too downhearted though if you've missed your opportunity to play online on the Xbox 360 version. The multiplayer was slightly sluggish, glitchy, and had some balancing issues. I did, however, still manage to enjoy the majority of my time spent online. You can still play Battlefield 2 on the PC to this day, and while not identical to Modern Combat, it still features many similar game mechanics and is often referred to as one of the best shooters of its time. As innovative as the hot swapping mechanic was, it isn't enough to make the otherwise bland single player worth more than a brief playthrough. A still active multiplayer might have been enough to give the game a recommendation, but a Battlefield game without online functionality offers very little enjoyment. For that reason, Battlefield 2 Modern Combat isn't worth it.
All is lost, comrade. Our country, our world will be gone soon. You failed, but it won't matter for long. You have your pistol? Good. I also have mine.